Do you struggle with making time to take care of yourself? I think that is a problem that's really common with women. I know that it is for me, and probably especially so for my grandmothers out there who might be helping out with grandchildren, but also helping out with parents. Well, today I want to do a deep dive into a book called The Weekly Self-Care Project. And let's see, by looking inside in detail, whether or not this is something that might help us to do a better job of spending a little bit of time on ourselves. Hello, friends, and welcome to the heart of Nanaland, where adventure is brewing, but so is the coffee. Yeah, this is my jumbo model here. My name is Lynn, but my grands know me as Nana. And now we're just going to dive right in and take a look at this weekly self-care project. So this is the Weekly Self-Care Project book, a challenge to journal, reflect, and invite balance into your life. It's a hardcover book, not very thick, not very intimidating, but really pretty beautiful in the way that they did it with the pictures and everything. It's almost like it could be a little coffee table book. And before I go into detail and take a look inside at the book itself, I just wanted to preface this by saying that it was published by Zondervan, which is a Christian publishing house. It is geared towards people of the Christian faith. So if that is not your faith, or you're adverse to it and you're not interested in something that comes from a Christian perspective, well, then it might not be the book for you, the journal for you. But if you do adhere to the Christian faith or you're not adverse to it, then let's jump inside and see if this is something that might help you start to develop a self-care practice. You can see on the inside that they've really tried to make it really pretty. With the colorful pages and the illustrations and the pictures. They have a gift plate here, so if you're giving it to someone, you can go ahead and put that in there. Maybe just you're giving it to yourself, that would be a treat too. Here's the cover page. Again, it's published by Zondervan. And then you have pages like this throughout the book that are just, beautiful photographs to kind of get you in the right frame of mind. A little bit of tea, a little bit of honey. Now, the book is set up to be done on a weekly basis, and there are 52 weeks worth of self-care, which is pretty easy, I would think, to step into it, right? They're not expecting you to do something every day, journal every day, twice a day. You're developing a habit, but doing it on a pretty easy, non-committal way, once a week. So there are 52 weeks of journaling pages in here, broken down into physical care, spiritual care, emotional care, and mental care. Another page with the pretty pictures. Then it starts off by telling you how to use the journal. Like I said, it's broken down on a weekly basis, and most of the pages have journaling prompts and a place for you to journal your thoughts. Some of them, though, are broken out to where you might doodle or do something a little more creative, or there might be a place where you can write out verses, Bible verses, to help you memorize them. So while most of it are journaling prompts, there are some other things and cues in there that you can do. Each section is broken out like this and starts with a little introduction as to what you're going to be focusing on over the next few weeks. And then again, here is a sample page with a little devotional and then some prompts and places for you to journal. And then it goes on to the next week. So you can see it's not a big time commitment. If you have been doing no self-care up to this point, this might be a good way to kind of dip your toe in without feeling overwhelmed, or, something that you start and then stop and you feel like a failure. And I say all this because I've been there and I've done that. And sometimes it's better to just take something that is easy, not so cumbersome, so that we can get some wins in. You know what I mean? It might be a good thing to do too, where you get a copy for yourself and a copy for a friend, so that way you guys can hold each other accountable each week. Go through and maybe share the different ways that you answered questions. Here's one on cultivating joy. That's under the emotional care piece. And like I said, it's, some of the pages are colored like this, which is really pretty. All different areas of your life that might help you get to be more centered and closer to the Lord, but just pausing. I think that's the key. It's just taking a minute to hit pause and to spend that time with God. Spend that time thinking about your own life and things that you want to get done in your life. The last part on the mental care talks about boundaries, right? Gratitude, things that really will help us to be not just a better grandmother, but a better person all around. So this is the self-care project book. I hope that seeing the inside of it and kind of seeing what you would be getting if you bought it and kind of committed to it, if it's something that might work for you, bless you, help you start to develop a pattern of self-care, even just on a weekly basis. And then maybe my hope for myself would be that I would be able to do something more on a daily basis, but you have to start somewhere. And this might be a good place to start. What do you think? Do you think it's something that might help you to develop a self-care habit? I'd love to know your thoughts after seeing the inside. And maybe you have tried something like this in the past and it worked successfully for you, or maybe not so much. Whatever your experience is, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Well, I hope that deep dive into the weekly self-care project was helpful to you, at least helpful in making a decision as to whether or not it might be something that will help you to have a little more self-care in your life. And if so, there is a link in the description to the book. And if it's not your cup of tea, well, then I would encourage you to find something that will motivate you to take a little bit of time for yourself to help you grow and fill your basket, so then you can pour that out onto the people that you love. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here with me today. I really appreciate it. And if this was useful to you, would you mind giving the video a like? Because that might help it get out there and get shared with other people who might be looking for ways to help add a little self-care to their own lives. Anyway, thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. I do appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you here in the heart of Nanaland again very soon.